It's a pretty kick-ass little camera.
So, we're looking at the curriculum right here for the social networking experiment for SDSU. About 3 years ago, I got on the San Diego State campus, and I was living in the area, and in between then I moved away, and then I came back, but still in the San Diego area, but in the close region, and the students were texting and walking, and they would be even walking in groups, and they weren't really engaging that much. And after I moved back into the neighborhood for the second time, they put the bike lane on campus. And because of that chaos that's created by the bike lane, that you got to be on your toes,
Yeah.
they stopped using their texting as much. And even though there was one corridor at the time, now I think there's 3, the students, it really went to the whole campus. And then I've noticed that also with the construction, that those minor changes is what we have to learn. And there's a game to college. Some of the stuff that's going on with you, that teaches you more about real life than some of the classes that you take and how you manage it. For me, when I was in school, I knew how to skip classes, and I mean not skip classes, but I knew how to get classes waived. I'm an entrepreneur as far as it goes, and it's the entire game of college that it's important to get. There's times and there's a lot of things that go on campus that it sucks. I mean, girls get raped and they can't go to anybody. They can't go to administration because they're just trying to protect their ass. Like you see that Sandusky thing with Penn State, and everybody's like attacking Penn State and everything, but that our culture is built on that shit. And people talk about how good it was in the 50s. People couldn't even talk about that. My dad's generation, he's 82. If they were depressed and said, I'm depressed, they'd get beat, which doesn't really help you with your depression. Helps you hide it.
They'd either get beat or they'd get locked up. They'd get, put into a hospital.
Into a nut house.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
And
even if you went in and just said, hey, man, I got a case of the blues today.
Yep.
Can't have you around.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad came from the same generation. You don't talk about anything like that.
Yeah. And then our generation, we would get yelled at, which kind of made us thick-skinned to a certain point, but it also could have put a blinder on to certain things. These current students at San Diego State and also in college, they had the opportunity to say they were depressed. And it made them very sensitive and very wise in ways, but also they're missing that component of some real life experience. A lot of them talk about how they're the entitlement generation.
Oh, yeah.
Society's totally entitled now. You have your bankers that are entitled. It's a different level of entitlement. The older we get, the better we can hide it. But my thing's all about telling people what the positive side of that is. Like the green flag, the red flags on campus.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the red flags. Nobody ever talks about the green flags. No, just the red flags. It teaches about society. Sometimes you can't get stuff done in society. So the focus of this is we've had a lot of great leaders. A lot of great leaders. And even Mark Twain, very wise man, he was a bitter bastard because he was so far ahead of people. He died over 100 years ago, and he's still so far ahead of a lot of people. But we're all evolutions of Einstein, Gandhi, Martin Luther King. We all are, but we just don't like to do it because we are supposed to have been better because they walk this earth. So, this whole thing's built around how are the leaders of the past, present, and future using social media for social change. And for me personally, by engaging that question, the first time I started asking it, actually, before I came to that question, I asked how would Mark Twain use the social network. And what's the name of the president before the current guy? Steven Weber?
Yes.
And I woke up and I had scheduled an appointment with one of my friends' dads, and he said he had come from education for a long period of time on the high school level, but he was like 87 or somewhere around there, and he said, as long as we talk about history and literature, you can interview me. And then all of a sudden, history and literature, and I asked that question, and I woke up in the middle of the night. And Mark Twain spoke to me. And he said,
Is this one of our friends?
Is this
yes, how are you doing?
This is the best kept secret